Is this thing on? Come in, world. I have a message of great importance. Spoiler alert. There you go. I was going to do a bit where I was going to summarize all of Vegapunk's message, but then I realized this is an anime opening that I'm breaking down, so I should probably give a spoiler warning first that we are going to be talking about manga stuff. However, it is needed because this opening also addresses a lot of manga exclusive stuff. Even things in the following arc, which is crazy. I wonder if you caught them all. There was a lot of stuff in the background with this, all right? This is a banger for sure, this one. One Piece opening 28, Carmine. The song is done by Egghead and Egghead, and it's directed by Yuki Kamiya, who also did the second opening of JJK, of Jujutsu Kaisen, which I hear is really good. I have not gotten to that point in JJK yet. I'll get there someday. It's good. I like JJK. It's just for some reason, the last time I sat down to watch JJK, my house almost caught on fire. So it was a thing where I had to be like, oh no, I gotta take care of that. And I just never got back around to watching it again. Horrible things happen whenever I try to watch Jujutsu Kaisen. Anyway, yeah, this opening is crazy, and we are literally kicking it off with one of my favorite shots in any One Piece opening. We are going to do a montage here in a moment, and I am a guy that loves his montages, all right? So we have this opening shot of Vegapunk here in the lab as he is relaying his message. We see the EKG heart rate monitor that I guess like Vegapunk had like a pacemaker or like hooked up to Wi-Fi or something like that whenever his heart was stopped beating. So unlike in Hunter x Hunter when, you know, Isaac Netero put a bomb in his chest, you know, it could have gone either way, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is Vegapunk. Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there right now. Could Vegapunk have installed a nuclear bomb inside of himself to go off when his heart stopped? Could he or could he have not have built that? The answer is he could have built that, all right, but he didn't. He decided to go the other direction with it and have a kill switch programmed that when he died, it was going to relay a message to the entire world. So we start off the opening, and we also end the opening with the shot of the lab as the message begins to play. All right, so that's a really great way to, like, start this all out, okay? So then we get a reaction to the Straw Hats. This whole opening is basically what everybody is doing during Vegapunk's message. Now, not everybody is listening to it. You see, like, the Straw Hats here that are reacting to it. This also could be the scene when Saturn shows up at the Labosphere and starts to attack them. That could be the other... That actually might be what they're reacting to right here. Or they could be reacting to the message as well. But then we also see, like, Luffy and Dory and Broggy and all the Gorosei fighting and everything like that. So it's a really, really cool way that they are just, like, structuring this whole thing around the message. There's Saturn right there in his full spider form. I don't believe we've seen the full spider form Saturn yet. I think we've just seen him in his hybrid form up until now. But there he is as creepy Spider-Man. And now we got the first good shot. This is just a long shot just down the entire row as we see all of these One Piece characters basically in order, starting on the left from the Goa Kingdom. We have Dadan, and we have the Mountain Bandits hanging out there, and then we also have Boodle, and we have, what was her name that was at the Shellstown base? Risa, I think, that makes the rice balls for Zoro. She's there. Chow Chow is there, the dog. Whoop Slap is there. He's about ready to slap some people with his wood, I'll tell you what. Don't let Whoop Slap free in the new world, ladies and gentlemen. I'd actually be totally cool if they reveal Whoop Slap had this really badass life back in his 30s. He was like a Yonko and stuff, and he decided to retire and be the mayor of a small village in the east. We see Makino there with her baby. Don't know who the dad is yet, but there's a baby there. Boodle also has a granddaughter to his right. We do not know her name, but yeah, that is his granddaughter. Then we see Kyoshiro, who is Zoro's sensei, and then we're cutting over to the Veggie Pirates, the Usopp Pirates at Syrup Village. We see Kaya there, we see Mary there, we see Patty and Carne and Zeph from the Baratier. Oh man, who was the kid at Nami's village? Kokoyashi. This is what I like about this opening. It's making me try to remember random background characters. Some of them I can't even remember, so I forget that kid's name. The kid that went to go fight against Arlong, and then Nami beat the shit shit out of him and knocked him down. And it's just like, okay, I can't remember if Nami beat the shit out of him. I remember Nami just kind of like maybe pushed him down or knocked him over with her staff, and she was like, get out of here, you're gonna die if you try this. But I forget that kid's name. Genzo is there, Nojiko is there. Moving down a little bit, we see Johnny and Yosaku. I love how they gave Yosaku his ripped bod, because Yosaku did canonically get super ripped post-time skip. He is a fisherman. They both are now living at Kokoyashi. I guess they just decided not to leave. We also see the doctor from Kokoyashi. Ooh, what was his name? I don't remember the doctor's name from Kokoyashi. Man, yeah, I'm really being challenged here. This is great. We also have Ippon Matsu. My man, Ippon Matsu made it into a One Piece opening in 2025. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we need in One Piece. I've been saying this, okay? Behind Ippon Matsu, we have Miss Monday and we have Mr. Nine and their newborn child. Yep, they got together after the events of Whiskey Peak. I guess they also decided just to hang out on that island and never leave. Maybe they thought, like, if they left that Baroque Works was going to try to, like, off them, so they just hung out there for a few months until Crocodile was taken care of, and then after he was taken care of, I guess they figured, like, oh, okay, well, we're here, might as well just stay, I suppose, right? Whiskey Peak was originally just a town built by bounty hunters to lure pirates in anyway. So, like, you know, it was already their town, so it's probably fine. We also see Crocus. I guess that's where that scene is. We see Crocus, Kureha, Dalton. We see a Loppin in the background as well. Ever since the ending of Drum Island, they basically mobilized the Loppins and I guess gave them weapons, and now they work for the Palace Guard. They're rather intelligent creatures, I'll say that much. Yeah, there's Wapple's Folly right there. He didn't ally with the Loppins. There you go. We also see Vegapunk and Pythagoras and I think Shaka way in the background as they're relaying the message in the video. So this is the montage. This is fantastic. This is great. Okay, we got multiple shots here, and they go by so damn fast. Some of them are for like less than a frame. I don't even know how you could do that less than a frame, but you have frame-by-frame shots of all of the different places in the Grand Line all over the One Piece world reacting to Vegapunk's message, and it goes by so fast. It's just like 20 locations, just like, there you go, done. So the first location, we have Water 7 at the Galila headquarters. We have Iceberg, and we have Tilestone, big giant guy that yells a lot. We got Polly on the right there, and on the far right, we got Lulu. We also have Alice. Alice is Iceberg's new secretary. She's there as well. Then in the next shot, we have Dressrosa. We got Kiros. We got Rebecca. We got Tank. I think his name was Tank, was the captain of the Palace Guard. I remember that guy's name. We have Kabu, and we the Tontada that has the power of the rhinoceros beetle zone, one of the insect zones. And we also see Leo there as well. Leo's hat is poking up there in the center. So they're watching the message. I love the scene when, like, Leo is convinced. Leo just 100% believes whatever he's basically told, because that's, like, how Tontadas are. So he's, like, reading the paper about Luffy kidnapping Vegapunk, and Leo is just kind of like, he's still friendly to Luffy, but he just kind of goes along with it, like, oh, okay, I guess Luffy kidnapped Vegapunk. That's crazy. You know, is that the guy that Luffy kidnapped right now and is holding ransom? Is that the guy? And Rebecca's like, no, that's not. I mean, it is, but he didn't do that. Don't believe everything you read in the paper, Leo. And he's like, but it's in the paper. It's like, yeah. Also, in this scene as well, Rebecca and Kiros are training together, which I really like. It's like, you know, father-daughter, like, bonding activity. But I'm also curious because Rebecca trained for so many years because she had to go fight in the Colosseum, and she didn't really like to do that. She didn't like to be in the Colosseum, but she still, like, has those skills that she's trained with her whole life. So, I don't know. I don't think she still goes and fights in the Colosseum. I'm assuming the Colosseum is still maybe an open thing. I mean, it's, like, part of the culture of Dressrosa, right? So I'm assuming they would probably keep the Colosseum. They just probably change it around a little bit. But it's cool that, like, Kiros and Rebecca are still training because, you know, in this final arc, I don't know, man, but if something crazy happens and a bunch of people have to go ally with the Straw Hats, being able to fight definitely would help. Next up, we have Zoe. We have Zunisha, and we see all of the minks. We see Carrot there, wearing the standard cloak of the Duchess of Zoe, I guess, because she's the new ruler of the country, which kind of came out of left field in Wano. But yeah, she's the ruler of the country now. I'm assuming Sicilian and also Wanda serve as, like, her regents and stuff, help her out a little bit there, because she was just kind of thrown into that position by Nekamamushi and Inuarashi. but they're watching the message as well. I also love even the little things about like whatever they're projecting the message on. So like places like Galila and Dressrosa are really major countries in the One Piece world, so they have more like a setup for this, like to pull out a visual Den Mushi and watch the message. Zo, it's more of just like a local billboard or like poster board they kind of throw up to use it. This is Alabasta, which they kind of just threw together some like sticks and like a cloth, to make like a movie screen. So this is Alabasta. We see on the left, we see Koza wearing the outfit, the outfit, the outfit that Koza wears, the standard outfit that Koza always wears in the story, the little like shirt. Also, we see Toto there in the center. The guy on the right was a member of the Alabasta Revolution, and also the guy on the left, I think, was the kid that wanted to join as well, and they kind of scared him away with that wound that guy has. Like, do you really want to join the revolution? Check this out. He took like a cannon to the arm or something like that. Also curious, considering Koza led a revolutionary army in his own country, I'm actually interested if he ever communicated with Dragon. Now listen, I get it, like, their revolution was successful and they were able to get their country back, so that's great. So I don't know, I think Koza might just be like done with the revolutionary army thing. He just wants to stay on his country and help out and be the Minister of Agriculture and everything like that and help his people out and everything like that. But I'm curious if he's like ever in talks with, like Dragon ever called him up one day and be like, hey kid, you got gumption, you got some of that grit and determination, you want to join the real revolutionary army or something like that? I don't know, maybe Koza was like, it's a tempting offer, but I think we're just gonna hang out here for right now. Next up, we have the World Economic Times. So we have Morgan's airship. I didn't even notice until just now, but all 4 of the Yonko's wanted posters are above the screen. That's something I didn't even notice the first time watching this. We see Morgan's there, and we see Vivi there. We see Wapple also off to the right here. We can kind of see Wapple right there. There's also that, she was named in the SBS. This is another name I don't know. Mike, so many names I don't know. It's the journalist that gave her clothes to Vivi, so she had something to wear, although her name was just given in an SBS, so I guess it's fair I don't remember her name off the cuff. But yeah, we got Luffy, Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach, Shanks, and Buggy's wanted posters up there above the screen. That's pretty cool. Next up, we have the Marine HQ. We just have Marine headquarters. I don't think these are in order exactly, because I think I put some of these in different order, but it doesn't matter. Celestial Dragons up at Marijois. They're, of course, watching on like a giant opulent screen because it's Marijois. This is Baltimore. This is Karakuri Island, the future land. Also, the place that Frankie bombed when he was there. I think twice. He kind of had some bad problems with that, but it's okay. Everything's all right. They've rebuilt. It's fine. This is Vegapunk's homeland. This is the country that he was originally from, and so it's actually really interesting to see them observing him. That old dude, which I don't believe was ever named, the old dude that met Frankie when he got sent there, he very well might have been like a childhood friend with Vegapunk. The way he kind of talks about him is like, oh, Vegapunk, is this your next thing? Or are you okay, Vegapunk, or something like that? I always got the impression they were like childhood friends. And then Vegapunk eventually, he built a bunch of stuff on the island, but then he left probably because the government was coming after him, and he formed Mads with Dufeld and Queen and Judge and Stussy and everybody, and then eventually allied with the government. So yeah, it's interesting they showed that place. This, of course, is the Sabaody Archipelago, and I don't think there's anybody here that we immediately recognize. I think they're just some random citizens watching on one of the mangrove trees, using that as a projector screen at Sabaody. You know what? A lot of places in the One Piece world to visit. I would love to visit Sabaody Archipelago. There's a lot of lawless lands that are maybe a little dangerous, and there are pirates, but it looks like a beautiful city to live in. There you go. And the next one up here is a big one. Here we have Hachinosu, the pirate island, full of lead. We got a bunch of random pirates just yelling, and it's funny, they just threw like an old tattered blanket up here in order to play the message, but what's most important is right over here. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I know those shoulder pads anywhere. I would know that jacket anywhere. Yes, this is Krieg and Geen. They survived. They're back. We see them in the manga. Pearl is there as well. I don't see Pearl right here, but that's okay. Actually, no, Pearl's here. Pearl's right here. Pearl's right here. Oh, man. That's awesome. I love these Easter eggs, man. This is great. Pearl's right over here. Krieg is over here. He's very obviously Don Krieg with the shoulder pads. Then Geen grew his hair out a little bit. He has these cool shades, and he has a sword now. At least he does in the manga. They are in, like, off to the side panel in the manga. It is such a small scene, even in the manga, so I really hope they kind of focus on them a little bit more in the anime. Oh, man. So that's it right there. Confirmed. They're alive. And you know what? Not only did they survive the gas weapon, they also managed to make it into the Grand Line again. Not just into the Grand Line, all the way to the New World, all the way to Pirate Island. You know what, Oda? I don't even care that Krieg isn't that important of a character. I want to see... I want an explanation on how that happened. I want a side story. I want a One Piece Gaiden on Don Krieg. I want to know how, because that's a story. Say whatever you want. You might like his character or hate him or think he's completely irrelevant, but there's a story there on how they survived and managed to rebuild their crew and go back into the Grand Line where they got completely... Okay, to be fair, he drew the worst fucking lot because he ended up immediately having to fight against Mihawk, right? He had like 50 ships and over 5,000 men. He had a whole armada. And he goes into the Grand Line and just immediately runs into Mihawk and just gets devastated. And it's like, nobody could have survived that. Like, who's going to survive that as a brand new guy to the Grand Line, right? So maybe they, like, built up their crew, tried again, and this time they didn't run into a warlord immediately. Not even a warlord, but, like, arguably one of the strongest characters in the story, like, that's still alive, like in the top 5. They run into him immediately. It's like some horrible drop from, like, it's like, man, the odds of running into a warlord is, like, 1 in 5,000. It's like, yeah, well... Good news. I mean, bad news, but good news. Whole Cake Island, of course. We see Moscato, and we see Broye, I think. That might be Brulee's sister right down here with the crown. Over here is Charlotte Brownie, and, of course, we have Katakuri right here. This guy over to the side. Oh, I know this guy's name. The dude that has, like a whiplash handlebar mustache for hair. He is... Charlotte. I got the last name right. He's Charlotte, not Tablet. Tablet was the little guy. Oh, man, who was this guy? He's a long arm tribe member. I know that. Charlotte, like, was his name, like, Serving or something? I gotta look that up. I'm looking that one up. Charlotte Mobile. Okay, that was his name. All right, there you go. I knew it wasn't a food. It was something related to food. So I was thinking like serving maybe or something like that, but no, it's mobile. All right, that's cool. Next up, we have Mocktown at Jaya, where we see Roshio. Yeah, Roshio, the guy that, I don't think it was in the anime, but the guy in the manga that Bellamy stabs his hand through the table with a knife. I think it was, like, shown that he probably died in the manga, but no, he's here. He's still alive, so hey, he survived. Here he is. I love all the people at Mocktown laughing at Vegapunk's message, by the way. They're all just like, the world's gonna flood. Oh my god, this guy's an idiot. I love how that's what they do in Mocktown. They just laugh at everything. No matter what it is, it's great. You know, there's like somebody that walks in and just orders an orange juice. Like, orange juice? Who ever heard of orange juice? What is this guy doing? You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I was wondering if there was any, like, a good bakery around here. Bakery? Who ever heard of a bakery? This guy's an idiot. That's Mocktown. They laugh at everything. That's the point. Then we get done with the montage. That was the end of the montage, but man, that was a good montage. Okay. Now, Zoro versus Lucci. Anything to say about that? Anybody want to add anything? Zoro versus Lucci? Anybody want to give any commentary on this fight? Nobody? Not a single person. No opinions on Zoro versus Lucci. Lucci, one of the villains, one of the main villains of the story. He literally fought Luffy once at Enies Lobby. Nobody wants to say anything about it? Okay, we'll move on, I guess. All right, shot of, actually a really cool rotating shot of all of Egghead burning down. That's very ominous, very, very striking. This is an awesome shot of Bonnie looking up at Luffy, seeing him in Gear 5th for the first time. The logo appears, One Piece. And then you see Kuma dancing over Luffy as Bonnie is reminiscing of her father. That is an awesome shot. That is really cool. This is another one that I missed. So there's a shot here of a straw hat fluttering in the wind. And I just thought, like, oh yeah, it's One Piece. You see straw hats fluttering in the wind in every opening, or in any, the little like breaks in between the episodes and things like that. Like, that's a pretty common thing to see the straw hat. It's the symbol of One Piece. No, this is Joy Boy. Yeah, this is Joy Boy because it's a shot of the hat fluttering in the wind, and if you go frame by frame, you see Emmett right there. I missed that shot. So there it is. There's Emmett in the corner, and then all of a sudden the hat is floating over him. That was Joy Boy talking to Emmett. Man, I love this opening. We're not even, like, that into the opening yet. Like, we still got a while left to go. And, I mean, it's not a super long opening. It's like a minute or so. But, like, still, so many things to unpack with this. All right, next up. Shot of the Sea Kings mobilizing and gathering together as it pans down into the sea forest. And we see the lone poneglyph that now remains there. By the way, I should mention the song, once again, Carmine by Egghead. It adds like a sort of like mysterious vibe. I mean, it's definitely high energy when we see the battle scenes and everything like that, so it definitely builds to like a shonen anime opening. It still has that feel, but it's also this kind of like reverence, this level of like, we are learning about the ancient history of this world and what is to come as well from that. And it's like, it's this level of like importance and I guess I said it before, reverence is the best way for me to say it. Really awesome feel. Here's some shots here. We got the new giant warrior pirates arriving. We got Dory and Broggy. We also see Oimo and Kashi in the background as Luffy's bouncing around in Gear 5th as the sun god. We see York running around trying to locate the transponder snail. And then we see Shaka, Vegapunk, and Pythagoras. I think this is the conversation they were having in front of, because you see Punk Records back there. By the way, first time we get to see Punk Records back there. And I guess this is the conversation they were having of like, what is even death to us? Like, what even constitutes death now that you have sawed off your now that you have sawed off your head and placed it in a giant jar and also divided your personality into 7 different bodies? What does it even mean to die now? Like, what have you done, right? Like, yeah. So that's a cool shot. Then we have Stussy just kind of staring over the bombed out ruins of Egghead. She's going to make a few decisions in this arc on what to exactly do, and we do not know exactly what happened to her. That's the crazy thing. No spoilers on that one, because we still do not know. So vote now. Did Stussy make it off Egghead, or did she just stay on the island and die? If she did make it off Egghead, where is she now? Because she's not with the Straw Hats. We see Kizaru and Akainu, and I know this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but we jump ahead a lot in this opening, so this might be the shot when, like, Akainu's there, and there's that conversation Kizaru has with Akainu right at the very, like, I think it was like the last chapter of the arc, where they're talking over the Den Mushi, and he's just like, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like, Akainu. You come down here and you see what happens. You kill your best friend, and you tell me what to go to do, you know? And Akainu's just like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, brother. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. And we also see all the Vice Admirals and the Sea Beasts back there, too. So that's pretty neat. There's Emmett. Just a really cool shot of Emmett bathed in flames. That's pretty cool. Nice little shot here where we see, once again, few reactions from the Grand Line as an image of the Grand Line itself is in the center of the screen. So we see Wano up there. We see Momonosuke, Kinemon, Shinobu, and Tama over the Den Mushi there. They got the Den Mushi from Orochi, actually, so that's why the Den Mushi has the, like, Orochi's little, like, top knot. I am Lord Orochi! I have returned in Den Mushi form! So that's him. Down there, that is Cobra's funeral. That is Cobra's funeral in the tombs of Alabasta as they lay their king to rest. And Chaka and Pell are sitting on opposite sides here. So Pell's over here, Chaka's over here. Or maybe Pell's over here and Chaka's over here. One or the other. Then we have Fishman Island at the top. We see Shirahoshi and Neptune, Minister of the Right, Minister of the Left. We see the Revolutionary Army as well as the survivors from Lulusia, who I guess are now currently members of the Revolutionary Army, reacting to the message as well. Then we have Emu with their butterflies. Emu with their butterflies. We have a shot of a library where we see the history section and the ocean section. You know, in the One Piece world, there would be an ocean section. I mean, most of the planet is ocean, so that does make sense. This is a really cool transition where we see the books of Ohara falling into the lake at Ohara as all the scholars were trying to save them, and then it immediately transitions to the bottom of the ocean where we see the ruins of the former civilization. So this is something that I've brought up before. A lot of people have brought up before. The fact that there's an entire civilization under the ocean, the fishmen and the merfolk should definitely know about all this. Right? Now, I'm not saying they would know about where this stuff came from, and to them it might just be considered normal. Like, it's been down there forever, so every fishman and merfolk, mermaid, and everybody that's born now would know about, like, oh yeah, that's just what's at the bottom of the ocean. You guys didn't know that? Yeah, there's a bunch of weird buildings and bridges and all sorts of weird things down there. It's like an ancient city. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of places like the Catfish Kingdom and the Goldfish Empire, yes, those are canon locations in the One Piece world, actually built their civilizations around this old civilization, right? Because there was already like structures there already. And we also see this in Jinbei's cover story as well, where there's like ancient ruins at the bottom of the ocean. So yeah. But yeah, they would know about it. So I don't know. Ask Jinbei at some point to see if he's ever seen ancient lost cities down on the bottom of the ocean, because he probably has. Then we see a shot of the other four of the Gorosei inside of the Room of Authority as they're all beginning to transform. And this is like one of those frame-by-frame shots. You see the Abyss circle opening up, and then very briefly you see the shadows of them, kind of like the way they appeared during when Sabo was at Reverie and he was there with Cobra. They kind of appear in that way first, but we do see them in their actual forms here in a minute. This is an awesome shot. We see the eye of Emu, and then Luffy just rips it open. And just like, ha-ha, not today. Oh, that's cool. Then we just have a badass shot. Here's one of those things that goes by so fast, blink and you'll miss it. You see in the background, you see Shepard in his sandworm form spitting out Luffy. Mars in his Itsumade form is up here. And then off down here, we also see Saturn. Okay, we probably see Top Man as well in the giant boar in the Hoki form, but I haven't really seen it anywhere, but it is probably there just way in the background or off to the side. Then we have Oimo and Kashi getting blasted away by Venus Juro's, Ethan Bear and Venus Juro's Conqueror's Hockey. We get a really great close-up shot of him in his hybrid, like, centaur form of the Bokotsu, this, like, skeleton horse-looking thing, so that's really sweet. Then a shot of Vivi as Emu's hand comes down. Then a bunch of like wanted posters. So we see Vivi's missing poster. We also see Luffy's wanted poster in the midst of this, and it closes up on like that shot at the Reverie when Emu stabs through Vivi's. Well, was it Vivi or Shirahoshi's in there? I'm assuming it's Shirahoshi because they're showing Shirahoshi there. Stabbing through Shirahoshi's picture. He was looking at Vivi's picture and also cut up Blackbeard's and Luffy's picture. So yeah, that all makes sense now, because there was four different pictures. There was Luffy and Blackbeard's and Shirahoshi's and Vivi's. I think Vivi's was the only one that Emu did not destroy. Because there's something there with Lily, obviously. And we also see later on, there's actually a framed photo of Lily inside of the flower room that Emu kind of creepily looks at every now and then. So there's definitely something there with Lily. Then this is the moment. So this is just a nice shot of all the Yonko. We see Blackbeard, we see Buggy and Shanks, and then we see Luffy down to the side. Obviously, I mean, Luffy is clearly the most inferior member of the Yonko, right? Like, clearly Buggy and Blackbeard and Shanks rank above him, so it makes sense why Luffy would be down there. But that's not what I'm talking about. The next one, and it's cool because it's like all these characters in the center are walking forward, and then they just transition into the next one. So Shanks just transforms into Garling here, fitting given the fact that Garling is the father of Shanks. However, do you guys see Gunko and Shamrock in the background? Yeah, Gunko is right over here. Yeah, you can see the bandages on her mouth. That is Gunko. And then off to the right here, you see a guy with a little bit of scruff on his mustache, a little bit of a goatee going on. Dollars to donuts, that's Shamrock. And then off to the side, I mean, honestly, you could easily just make this Summers and then this Killingham. I mean, it's not really hard to do that. I mean, I'm assuming this would be Summers. He's a little bit bulkier. Killingham would be over here, so covering up their cloaks exactly. But yeah, Gunko and Shamrock made it into this opening, and we are not even, I don't want to say we're not close to Elbaf, because we are getting to the end of, like, this is the climax of Egghead, but, like, we're a while off from Egghead ending to getting to Elbaf yet, right? Like, we're a little while off. We got a few episodes left or so, right? But there we go. Gunko and Shamrock. Awesome. Then we have the Marines. We got Kobe in the center, Kuzan and Aokiji in the background. We got Drake all bandaged up there, Kujaku, Suru's granddaughter. We see Helmeppo. We see Prince Cruz. We see Hibari. Revolutionary Army. We see all of the commanders on the left, or I guess not all the commanders on the left. We see Jiren there, who is a vice commander, and we also see Karasu, Bellobetti, and Lindbergh. And then on the right, we see Ushiano and Gambo, Inazuma, obviously, and Ivankov, and then Ahiru, and then Koala as well. So that's pretty neat. We see them all there, all the gangs all there. This is a cool shot, but, like, it's Dragon walking forward at Logtown. I saw a thing that was talking about how we finally have confirmation from the opening that Dragon saved Luffy at Logtown. And it's like, oh, because Dragon's walking forward and then we see the lightning bolt in the very next shot. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but I'm pretty sure that was already confirmed. Like, I don't know. Raise your hand if you thought that, like, Dragon being at Logtown and the lightning bolt saving Luffy were not connected in the slightest. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, everybody thought that I assumed that was, like, the general consensus, that Dragon used his abilities. We still don't know what his Devil Fruit is, but it has something to do with manipulating wind and storms and things like that, and he used that to save Luffy. So, could be a Logia, could be a Paramecia, could be a Mythical Zone. Not sure, but he has it. Also, they do this, like, almost reverse time-lapse, where you see the moment here, where Luffy is being saved by Dragon's lightning bolt. Buggy's about to execute him. And then it, like, rewinds time to the plaza, with, like, different people in the plaza at different moments. And it rewinds, and then you get, like, a sepia tone over this, and it rewinds all the way back. Holy shit, wait a minute. Is that Lucky Roo? Right here. Maybe? No, probably not. Probably not, but, like, that'd be so crazy if, like, Shanks' crew showed up there at some point. Anyway, then we get all the way back to 24 years ago when Roger was executed at Logtown, all the way back. So that's also a pretty neat, like, shot. They didn't even have to do that. There was no reason to do that. Like, hey, let's just do this really cool establishing shot and then, like, hold it, Luffy about to be executed, and then reverse time lapse back in time all the way back to Roger's execution at the exact same place. I'm like, that went hard. That really did. All right, then we see Roger staring at us, about to be executed. And then we see the shots of the dreams of the characters. So Roger telling Whitebeard and Odin his dream, which transitions to Luffy telling Sabo and Ace his dream, which is probably the same dream. And then we see Ace telling Yamato about Luffy's dream. And then we see Blackbeard saying that the age when people dream, or the age when pirates dream, will never end. And then finally the shot right before Egghead, when Luffy tells the Straw Hats his dream, and then, or what he wants at the end of his dream, and then their reaction to that as well. So they made sure to put that in there. That's very important. We keep that in mind. The news coups, this is after Vegapunk's message, all going to the world to spread the message and all of the recaps of Vegapunk and all the things that he says in his broadcast to the world. And then last few shots here, we have Emmett just kind of looking up at the sky, and then a straw hat falls out of the sun, and then Luffy picks it up, puts it on, and then there you go. That's the end of the opening. We have one last final shot of the lab as the broadcast terminates, and then the lab shuts down, and it begins to collapse. Like, you see rocks falling from the ceiling as it collapses. That opening was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Yuki Kamiya, who was the director of this. I got to go check out the second opening of JJK. I got to finish Season 1 as quick as possible to check that out, because I've also seen people saying that is one of the best openings in anime, like, period. But yeah, wanted to go through and break this thing down, because there is a lot of things here. Anyway, that's the video for tonight. I know it's a little bit later than usual. Apologize for that and all that. Actually, at the end here, I'll tell you a little bit of a story. So earlier today, I was going to do a video, but I was first going outside in my backyard to do, like, some yard work. I was moving some old fencing and rotting wood and putting them in, like, garbage bags and getting rid of them and all that. And in the midst of doing all that, I poked myself with a rusty nail that was like sticking out of one of the old like pieces of rotting wood, and it wasn't like a deep cut or anything, but it was bleeding a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the last tetanus shot I got was in 2020, so am I good or what? Luckily, my neighbor, who was outside at the time, my neighbor is a registered nurse, so I was like, hey, should I maybe go get a tetanus shot? And she's like, yeah, that might be a good idea. So I had to go to the doctor instead and get a shot. But other than that, so I was a little bit later filming this tonight. But so I was going to do something on God Valley, but I decided to break down the opening instead because I felt like, I don't know, it'd be easier to get through that. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm good. Got a tetanus shot. I'm ready to go. Thanks for watching. This will be Tech Egg signing out. Later, all.